Hey, Thomas. We are on the precipice of greatness. This is our eighth episode and final episode of covering Tom's first trek through TNG. It'll be very, very fun to kind of take a 2 or 3 minutes after this whole thing and we wrap it up, and then we see what your views are, what your real views are as a first time nerd watching this.
Yeah, and I see that the Bluebird of Happiness has come to watch with us.
Oh yes, yeah, the background, yeah. I'm lazy and I have the Bing desktop background thing because it rotates it every day, and it's pretty cool. It's probably one of the few things that Microsoft makes that I like. Just kidding. Windows is fine. No, and this is my co-host Tom. That's the Tom that I was referring to, and this is his first trek through TNG, as I said before, and like I said, this is a fun episode. And this was I don't know about you, and it'll be really interesting, like when we do the end of season wrap conversation, like what your favorite ones were, and what the lame ones were. But what were your thoughts on this as we engage? So stupid. Symbiosis. No, that was the one that we covered last week. Sorry, I had to bring up everything. Was that right? See, now I feel like I'm all torn up here. Yeah, that's right. We covered Symbiosis was the very last one we did last week.
Yeah.
For that bunch of and then we're down to the 4. I don't know why I was thinking we were covering 5. I don't know. I have 5 because we just talked about Strange New Worlds. That's why. Anyway, all right. So Skin of Evil. This one premiered on April 23rd, 1988. This was probably the biggest episode of the season. And what were your thoughts on it? And its impact.
Yeah, the biggest is probably the darkest one, where we get the demise of Tasha Yar and the evil tar monster. He's probably one of the worst looking as far as designed creatures, but they pull it off by the sheer evilness of of the character. It's it makes for a compelling episode. It's poor lost Data.
Data lost his only lover. And no spoilers, but spoilers. This has been out for a long time, but this is the most heaviest one. I agree with that. And this is like where they lose a crew member. And it's fairly detrimental. But ultimately, it turned out, in fact, to be probably one of the better things that happened to Star Trek, to at least the Next Generation, because it set up the one that everybody remembers, which is season 2 on. There was like one where Dr. Crusher kind of left for a little bit. I think that's next season. And then Pulaski, she is actually very good, the actress who played her, but that's too far afield. But this one is one of my favorites. I'm like many folks, just the weight and gravity, and Data kind of gets his first word shown. It's like his first loss. So that I'm sure he's lost before this point, but that the audience sees anyway.
The big surprise, she wasn't wearing a red shirt. So it kind of sets it apart from the original Star Trek. And it also sets it apart that an actual returning character dies. And surprisingly, I wasn't spoiled. I might have known at one point that character died, but from conversations that I overheard. But on my watching of this, either I didn't know or forgotten that that character dies. So it was a surprise to me. I was waiting for them to bring her back, much like I'm sure everybody who's watched it for the first time that didn't know, because if the creature has the power to kill her, then he has the power to bring her back, probably. And then
That's a valid point. I didn't think about. I didn't. You know what? That's funny. I didn't think about it. That's so true. So
yeah,
true.
yeah, and then especially when he got Riker in the goop, you thought, well, they're I know for a fact they didn't kill Riker
Mhm.
because he hadn't did his beard arc, so um I knew he was coming back. But yeah, so yeah, the stakes were raised on it, and then towards the end of the episode, you go, oh well, I guess she's not coming back, and
Yeah. No. Yeah. And I tried very hard to not say anything about characters and their demise because I knew this was coming up. I just didn't. I couldn't remember where it was in the season until we hit it, and we finally hit it. So yeah, Armis. I don't think that there's no more reoccurring character. This is like a one-off, but yeah, not much to say. It's pretty dark,
yeah, yeah.
it is what it is. But it was very good. I thought it was very good. It's a personal favorite of mine. Is it the best one ever? No, but it's pretty pivotal just for the
Yeah,
fact of what it is. And you're right. They
yeah.
must have been low on budget because they did I can't remember. I can't remember what they used for the goo. If I was on the ball, I would have pulled that up prior to this, but oh
uh,
well.
yeah, I'm sure the guy that plays Riker could tell you what it was since he
Oh,
was in, yeah.
here it is. Riker was sucked into Armis, was in fact submerged in a pool of Metamucil and printer's ink during a break-in filming while Frakes was lying on the beach covered in the sludge. LeVar Burton approached him and said, I never would have done that. Okay, so that's what it was. I was just thinking about that. So that's cool, 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 cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good one. I wouldn't necessarily put it 9 out of 10 if we were rating these, which we're not. We're just passively going through, but I'd say that's a pretty good synopsis. I wouldn't say great episode. I'd say good episode, but uncomplicated. It's pretty straightforward. This is the standard Star Trek, kind of creature of the week, but with a little bit more impact. But anything else to say about this one?
No, it's just kind of interesting how usually in a Star Trek episode they try to bring the humanity to whatever
Hmm.
creature or alien that they're dealing with, but I guess they realized pretty quick that there was no way to reach any compassion in this creature, so they had to trick it to get it get the hell out of there.
Yep, yep. They did the old fashioned briar patch.
Yeah, yeah, it made me think what they did to um on that planet, as far as the Federation. I guess they have a little index of planets not to hit up, so
Yeah,
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 don't do a pit stop here.
yeah, yeah, for sure. That's that how you said that reminded me of Stargate, where like
Mhm.
further on in the original series they had Stargate was a show, and famously Showtime bought it and made it, and then they handed it off to Sci-Fi Channel. Anyway, they had a list of addresses that they couldn't dial or they shouldn't dial, whatever that they use later on. I don't think Star Trek did. They don't revisit this place. Would be cool if they maybe did something in the future, but that's kind of hit or miss with all these storylines. Some are have a lot of gravity, and this one had. I'd say this one, aside from the very first episode, and what was that Arsenal of Freedom? I think this is like in the top the top for this season anyway for me. But with that, I'm not quite sure there's much more to say. But but overall, did you like it or no or?
Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it. It's probably one of the stronger episodes of the season.
Indeed, indeed. With that, our next one, yeah, 21, 22. Okay, good. So I screwed this up before. We'll always have Paris. And this is Picard. This is kind of gives a little bit more humanity to Picard a little bit.
Mhm.
And was it was good. I honestly I forgot about this one. This is one of the ones that I forgot about. That for some reason I just didn't remember it. But you have the dying man. Sorry, I'm
The
just,
yeah, it kind of delves into Picard's past and his time in Paris with his lady love and the I guess he would have been his rival or whatever, that researcher, Mannheim, looks like his name was.
yeah,
But yeah, so he runs upon Mannheim. They run upon a distress message uh, from that Mannheim guy, and yeah, Picard's kind of has mixed feelings about going there, and I guess they're kind of questioning him, and he uncharacteristically shows some frustrated and angry emotions in it, and uh, Troy Donna Troy's like, yeah, you gotta work something out there. So he goes to the holodeck to a really bad interpretation of Paris, which I guess they did what they could, I guess, with their budget, but
right, right.
and he hung out with them, some people, and had a conversation with a couple of them, and was like, screw this. And I guess he decided he'd have to deal with it his own way, and not deal with it with the holograms.
Yeah,
And
this one it showed Picard's human side, but it was a little bit on the lighter side of
yeah.
the. It didn't suck. It was okay. But yeah, case in point, I completely forgot about this one. Honestly,
Yeah.
I just did not recall it at all when I watched it.
Mhm.
Going through it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did.
I
Sorry,
knew
go ahead.
that his lady love, Michelle, it was played by Michelle Phillips. I forgot about that. She from
Hmm.
the Mamas and the Papas.
Hmm.
But
I did not know that.
yeah, so but yeah, I mean, she's not the best actress in the world, and neither is that Mannheim guy. So it didn't play off. It was an okay episode, but
Yeah.
it got its point across, and Data has the big moment at the end when he saves the day with his antimatter drop with the three of him.
Right. The time
Uh,
ripple,
yeah,
or echo, time echo, whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
but which one of us is right? It was the middle one.
Yeah. Fortunately, Data found out,
Yeah.
enough to save the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not much. I don't know much what else to add, but aside from like the one that got away, and you know, Starfleet is Picard's boo. Sorry,
Yeah, although
Janice, whatever. Star Trek's just got it going on.
yeah,
I'm Starfleet.
although although they kind of played with the idea that there's something maybe going on between Picard and Crusher, Dr. Crusher in
Oh,
this
they did
episode.
hint.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of dropped those a little bit, like as you kind of understand the storyline, and
Mhm.
you understand the history with Picard and Jack Crusher and Beverly's husband, and who
Mhm.
passed away, died, whatever, I can't remember. And then obviously Wesley, their son. So, but yeah, there's a little bit of interesting
Yeah,
background.
seems like Picard's always longing for someone else's woman.
Ah, I think there's a lot of truth to that, my
Yeah.
friend. I think there's a lot of truth. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, and then I think that's a okay. Yeah, this one. Excuse me. This one I do remember. Um, what's his name? Good grief. The Boothby. I think it was Boothby. I might be. That might be it. That might be next season. Excuse me. I don't know what. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, that was. I thought this was the one with the. Excuse me. Anyway,
And
I don't know what I was going with that.
yeah, the Picard's contacted by some of his fellow captains about maybe a something's going on with Starfleet, and that they think it's been compromised, and it's we we have the return of the Game Boy guy from our last episode. That guy that was going around surveying and investigating Picard.
Yeah, Picard's reactions to things. Yeah.
Yeah, and he
anyway, just trying to find him on the thing.
And Picard gets his revenge on him, and by blowing him up.
Sorry, alien thing in there. You're not whoever that guy is anymore.
Which I think they did a good job in that. They set you up to not like the guy in that previous episode, so that when he gets totally annihilated with the host inside of him, you don't feel all that bad.
Nope.
So that was creative. Of if that was planned as far as the episodes, that's kind of cool that they kind of set it up that way. And I guess the fun in this episode was the old guys getting the creatures, the parasites in them, and they're jumping around and kicking Riker's ass, throwing him through tables and whatnot. So that was kind of fun. And then I liked how it started. The Star Trek is normally such a bright show where everything's clean and everything, and when they first contact Picard, they wake him from his sleep, so his bedroom is totally in darkness as he's talking to his fellow captain. So I enjoyed that it was sort of a darker setting instead of the bright, which kind of adds to the kind of what's going on conspiracy thing. And then the planet he goes down on to meet them is this red planet that you think a planet that maybe Darth Vader might hang out at and lose some limbs.
Yeah, like good old Mustafar.
Yeah. And he also meets up with one of the captains he meets up with is our old pal Michael Berryman from the Hills Have Eyes fame, and he's always he's an interesting looking guy. So, and they have him playing the alien, and he's that Captain Rick's Michael Berryman towards the bottom there. Yeah. He just his look in general makes him kind of alien looking. So, but no, you had it. But yeah, so it was kind of cool to see him. Maybe I don't know if he'll reappear in any of the future Star Trek episodes, but yeah, unless go ahead.
Yeah, this was like a more. It's pretty rare. This is a pretty rare episode because there was. Oh Jesus, I'm on the wrong one. This has a lot of gore in it, and that is just not typically associated with the Next Generation at all. I mean, there are some really dark episodes, and this is one of the darker ones, but there are some even darker ones, even more so than the Symbiosis. That other one that we the first one we where Troy Natasha Yar was lost.
Mhm.
They do definitely plumb the depths of like the emotional like kind of thing. Definitely a lot, especially with Picard later on. But and there's some other ones too that kind of push the boundaries of humanity and ethics and all that. Of course, like the famous thing with Picard is the he always disregards the what is that, the Prime Directive? Yeah, it's like the Prime Directive says we can't go down, but let's find a loophole.
Yep. Yeah.
Kind of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Aside from the fact that like Natasha Yar, that episode where we lost her, this one was probably a little bit better, but just for gravity and weight. The other one carries more weight in general. But and then this is the penultimate episode, second to last one for the season.
Mhm.
I think they definitely they started pretty strong and they got wobbly through the middle part, and then they kind of finished strong. I think with this one and the other than the other one that was kind of weak that I didn't remember at all in the grand scheme of things. But that brings us up to the final. Unless you had anything else to add, and I didn't even know that Captain Ricks that he played in the Hills Have Eyes. No, I had no clue.
Yeah,
No clue.
he's been in a bunch of different things, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's he's a good character actor. Yeah, in the One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Devil's Rejects. Yeah, he's
that's right. He was in a Cuckoo's Nest. Oh man, that was a brutal one. Nurse Ratchet.
yeah.
Yeah. My favorite kind of nurse. Not.
Oh, and another thing on a conspiracy, I forgot that uh it's kind of follows our unintended theme of this week, which was stories that that sort of parallels Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
That's true. That is
Yeah,
true. That's true. Yeah, I that is very that is very true.
because on our main podcast we talked about the Cornetto trilogy, which includes The World's End,
Hmm.
which has a storyline where a village gets taken over by aliens or robots or something like
So
that, and that mimics the appearance of people. And this doesn't mimic people, but it has parasites that take over people and makes them act differently. And yeah, again, it kind of puzzles me that this type of storyline of a invasion of uh, making people act differently isn't used more currently modern day, because it seems like something that people would want to lean into.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's funny you say that because there is a. This reminds me of well, there's all kinds of body snatcher type themes that have been recycled throughout. Like I was thinking about the X Files when they were in Antarctica or whatever, and then they had the ear worms or something like that.
Mhm.
But Cliff Boyle was the director of this one, and sure enough, he directed 4 episodes of the X Files. So I don't know anything beyond that, but
Right, yeah.
aside from just noticing it, because it kind of has that kind of X Files kind of quality a little bit with the
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's good
with the
being a little bit
darkness and
darker. Yeah.
right, and the conspiracy behind a conspiracy, that kind of thing, or the story within the Matryoshka type doll setup of
Mhm.
things. Although, to be fair, this they didn't go all that deep. It wasn't like
No, no,
bending and twisting and flexing into a something that really
mhm.
surprises you, but it
and
was good.
and Riker doesn't at any point say trust no one. So,
It's
but
true.
and also I like to we can't gloss over the maggot scene where they're all eating maggots.
Oh God. Oh, I forgot about it.
Picard was
Yeah,
like,
that's right. They did.
no, and then
No.
and Riker totally sold that he was taken over, but he was joshing them. He wasn't he didn't have parasites. He dug into those those worms though.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That'll come
Yeah.
again too, where there's this episode where he, unless he, I don't think we covered it, but he joins a Klingon ship and he gets acquainted with Gok or whatever, and has to kind of eat some gross stuff again. So maybe that's a recurring Riker thing that nobody jumped onto, but it.
But yeah, there's now that I think about it, now that I know that he wasn't he wasn't possessed by the parasites, the scene where he's eating the worms, he does this thing where he's like, um since you think he's possessed, you think he's kind of just playing with the food, but now that I think about it, he's he's probably like, oh geez, am I really gonna eat this? And then he puts it in his mouth. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting touch on the that particular scene.
Indeed, indeed. And with that, it brings us up to the last, where we started the first. Now this is the last, and we are definitely the Nerdom for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like Thomas was saying, we also have another show on Wednesdays that hopefully you caught our last grab bag, where we covered several picks. And
Yeah, we kind of
even
morbed out in that.
oh yeah, oh, it's Morbin time for sure.
But what were you saying? Sorry.
Oh no, that's just I was just giving a plug for our Wednesday
Yeah.
our Wednesday grab bag, where we cover comic books and a couple YouTube recommendations and whatever we're tracking on. But yeah, this was the final one.
I was kind of neutral on this.
Yeah, I
Kind of play on the title there, neutral
I
zone.
liked it. Yeah, I did like it, but not like it was the greatest ever. More so from the standpoint of it introduces these people from a completely different time period, and
Yeah.
and they wake up, and there's the one, I guess, how to say it, asshole sock guy, I guess.
Mhm.
Well, you have no idea how much money I have,
Mhm.
so it's
Yeah.
got to be, I'm like,
Mhm.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were not impressed, but this one
No,
didn't
I
really suck either.
no, I was just kind of making fun of the title of the neutral
Oh,
zone, saying I was kind of neutral on it. But no, it was entertaining. The, yeah, it's kind of it was kind of interesting that they found those bodies and brought them back, and then
yeah.
Picard was a bit perturbed, like, why did you even bring these people?
Oh, he hated them. He hated all of them. He hated every
Oh,
single one of them. He didn't want to deal with them. He's like, that's not my job. Everybody else, you deal with
yeah,
these
yeah.
lost in
Even
time folks.
yeah, even before they were revived, he was like, well, they were already dead.
He has a
So,
point.
yeah.
He has a point. Leave nature well enough alone. But you had Tex, and then you had the housewife, I think,
which,
and then
yeah,
her husband didn't make it or something, and then you had
yeah,
the a-hole rich guy, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. It was kind of interesting then that it was Picard, the human, that was um not sympathetic to bringing them back to life, whereas Data was the one, the android, the non-human, that had an interest in bringing life back. And
Good point.
he was the one that was fascinated by them, which I may more or less have just been his interest in data, as
Hmm.
accumulating on humans of the previous times. But yeah, the of course, anytime you got guest stars on it, you're with the budget, you're not going to
Was it
get high caliber people.
was it Armin Sherman on this one? I don't think so. No.
um
Oh, yep. Oh no, never mind. Nope, never mind. I was thinking something else. But yep. Uh,
but yeah,
yeah.
the Sonny Clemens, the the country singer, I guess he was. He was, I don't know,
Oh, Tex, the Tex
yeah,
character.
yeah, him and the stock guy were, well, they and the mom, they were all kind of annoying. So
Right.
I kind of enjoyed the idea of it, and how the stock guy upsetting Picard, and just generally getting Picard riled up. That was entertaining, but yeah, overall, that was sort of like, I understood that they were trying to beef up the story with a parallel story of the humans from the past, and then them trying to deal with what was going on in the neutral zone with the people being killed and whatnot, and then the threat of the Romulans. Oh my gosh, the Romulans are back after, what was it, 53 years? I think it
I think it
was.
was longer than that. I think they were from the 22nd century, and I think they're in the 24th century.
No,
So
no,
it's a
I
couple
mean,
hundred.
no, I mean,
Oh,
since the Romulans, they've
oh,
been in
oh,
contact
yeah, yeah,
with
yeah. You're right.
the
You're right. Yeah, yeah.
Romulans.
50 years or so at that point, like where they stopped warring, but they were quite a uneasy
Yeah, they were
truce,
on.
I
Yeah,
guess.
they had radio silence so that
Right.
they didn't know what was really going on with them, and vice versa. Uh,
Yeah.
and the Romulans didn't have much love for them, and was like, okay, well, you're gonna have to deal with this now.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
And we're not going anywhere. And they're of course the Romulans were like, so we're not going anywhere either.
Hmm.
Uh, and of course they're famous for doing the stalemate thing for a long time. Like they'll it's repeated again and again. But they kind of, you had your A plot and your B plot. And I could have cared less about the Romulans. I mean the storyline. I for some reason I don't know why, but this is another kind of like nostalgia favorite of mine. Just I don't know why, but it's just interesting to think, that you're cryogenically frozen and then you're resuscitated and then you all of a sudden you're in a new time.
Yeah,
Everything's dead. Everybody's
yeah.
dead, gone.
I wish I could remember what channel I watched it on, but one night I was bored and flipping through YouTube, like I'm sure you do, and I
Mm,
found a YouTube produced documentary on the whole cryogenics thing,
mhm.
and the whole history of it, and like who first was cryogenically frozen, and the whole they kind of went over the whole industry of it, and it was a really fascinating thing. So yeah, whenever this came up of the cryogenics, it kind of tipped me off on that. It's like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
I know a little something about this. And how the a lot of the original ones, they ran out of money, so keeping them frozen, so that a lot of them just got got dumped.
Yep. Like,
Yes.
oops. Oh, nope, skeleton time.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
this one, it definitely. I think that this one wasn't. I, I'm curious to see to think as this is the caboose on the train that is the first season of TNG. What were your overall thoughts as we're bringing up the rear here and seeing the end of the season one?
Just one more thing on neutral zone. I was
Oh
reading,
yeah, sure.
kind of reading the I guess the wiki on different episodes, and the reoccurring thing was that I guess the neutral zone was sort of the unofficial introduction of the Borg, which we hadn't got to those episodes obviously, but I'm aware of the Borgs, because the how can you not be aware of them? There's
Mhm.
a, yeah, I know that at one point Picard becomes one of the Borg, because I've seen that famous
Right.
picture of him with the gear on his face. So
Yep.
even though I haven't obviously I haven't seen the episodes or any episodes of the Borg yet, I've definitely seen and heard of them. But yeah, from what I read, this is sort of like, I guess maybe the people that the entity that killed the people in the neutral zone may have been the Borg. But that's what I read. Yeah, yeah.
That's true. That's a good point. That is, yeah, they do. The Borg become a thing later on. is a gift from Q, but that's the gift that keeps on giving. Q. Yeah, good point. That's a good point. This kind of set up the mystery of like the neutral zone. It's a concept that comes back again. Of course, they kind of shift around like where who the baddie is. You know, season one, it probably could be considered that the Ferengi were the baddies, so to speak. The Romulans are. They could definitely put them give them a run for their money. Although the Ferengi that never really stuck, to be honest with you. They kind of got out of that. Nobody really you look at a Ferengi and you're like, you're not scary.
Yeah, they,
You have a spaceship that looks like an armadillo or something. Like, I'm not
oh,
all that impressed.
yeah, the first episode that they were in, they were kind of scampering around like golems. So,
Right,
you
right.
know, yeah. With Gollum with big ears. So I guess Gollum does have big ears to begin with, but
True.
theirs kind of meld to their head. But yeah, overall, yeah, like you said, it started off pretty good, and then it kind of stumbled and tried to find its bearings, and
Right.
it finally does towards the mid episodes, and then the rest of them through to the end were pretty solid, with even the the ones that weren't quite as good still had things that were good about them. uh
Right.
so, so yeah, yeah, so for a first season, and then uh, this is back in the day where you had 26 episodes a season, so you're not gonna, I'm sure it was hard to make ever one a banger, as the kids say now. So
Yeah.
but yeah, you know,
Banger.
a banger, yeah. but
It's a
but
banger.
yeah. But yeah, so then a current season now for a show is what, 10-13 episodes at the most. So
Yeah. There have been a lot more shorter seasons than late. Like
mhm, mhm.
they don't I don't know of another one that pumps out 20 plus episodes other than anything outside of the CW or something, like where it's, kind of
Well,
just
does
mass produced cookie
yeah,
cutter, shove them out the
yeah,
door.
yeah, does I guess I could ask my mom. She still watches like uh Law and Order and stuff like that. They probably pump out
Oh
20,
yeah,
20 or so episodes a season.
that's
that
true.
all.
Oh shoot, excuse me. Yeah, no, so overall, yeah. How does it rate from other, maybe your favorite, more favorite science fiction season or shows for their first season versus this one? I don't even know what you'd be comparing, but how does it rate on that scale?
Um, I guess well, it would have to be, well, because you can't really compare modern ones, because their budgets are much higher. Even something like Battlestar Galactica had a huge budget compared to this, so that
No, yeah,
everything looked better, played better, and so,
sure.
but yeah, for what for their constrictions, it's on par with, well, I'd say the original Star Trek show, from as far as the look of it, that's pretty much on par with that. And then as far as um the writing, it's similar in that I think the original ones, they actually had real science fiction writers writing on it, like David Gerald and Harlan Ellison wrote a couple episodes. So that, and I'm sure I'm missing a few others that wrote episodes that are classics that stand the test of time. So the highest episodes of Star Trek, I don't know if I could find a comparison in this first season of Star Trek, but yeah, as far as one to one, they're pretty similar. So
Okay.
it's kind of a different take on what
Sure.
a captain is like, which I enjoyed. And again, they're kind of getting to know who all the characters are, and they're not afraid to take a few risks here and there of making a maybe a darker episode and letting one of their main characters die, which I don't. They never did in the original Star Trek. So
Did your opinion change, or did you find a favorite character, or did you get enough a good sense of them from this season to have a favorite, or anything like that, or did it change?
I guess the ones that I like best is the best one is Picard, and then second best, which I was surprised by, is Data. I as far as the from standing afar, not watching the show, Data always annoyed me as far as who is this? Who is this dork with the yellow eyes? And so once you start watching the show, you get to know the actual character, and but visually he can be a little off-putting if you don't know any of the context or anything about the characters. So that was my prejudice going into the to the series, and the character won me over by the end of the season.
Very
And
cool. Very cool.
Wesley Crusher isn't as annoying as he was portrayed by I guess you would say the um 1980s 90s memes, if there were memes back then of Wesley Crusher. I'm sure if there was if we had memes, he would have been memed to death back then.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
he wasn't quite as bad as he's still bad, but he's not quite as bad as they portrayed him.
Yeah, I don't think he's as bad as like a Jar Jar Binks or
Mhm.
I guess people actually didn't like the Ewoks when Return of the Jedi came out too, but that changed over time, from my
Yeah,
understanding.
yeah.
But in any case,
Yeah,
so
I also
yeah,
liked Jordy and Worf, but they really didn't get much screen time in this
ah,
season. Not
no,
at
they
all.
didn't. Yeah, no, and I really like Michael Dorn too. I think,
Mhm,
in my opinion,
mhm,
and this is just, there's nothing wrong with Denise Crosby. She's a fine
mhm,
actress, but
mhm.
you're
I
locked in.
heard you emphasize fine there.
But yeah, it is just that's my chief of security, I guess, that I'm used to on the Enterprise up there.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, her Tasha Yar, as far as screen time, she's right there with Jordy and Worf in that she didn't really
mhm.
get much. There wasn't much character development for her, and she seemed to always go headlong into things without really uh, assessing them. Like she got zapped into the um I forget what Q called it, the no play
Q
zone.
Continuum or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, the kind of moratorium where she probably could have died in that episode. And
Mhm.
then
That's
and
true.
then
Yeah,
then
yeah.
she did a similar thing in the Skin of Evil or Sin of Evil episode where she does get killed. So that, yeah, it was kind of interesting. She sort of has the same mentality as Worf, but Worf is a little bit more reserved as far as um not running headlong into things. He sort of, which kind of is interesting for a Klingon, that he would be more hesitant to just go headlong into something as opposed to Tasha Yar. But then that could be playing into her character as maybe being a woman and wanting to prove herself uh, in any situation, especially since she's the security officer.
Right. They look to her for the answers for that, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
She has
No.
to portray a sense of purpose. But yeah, um, yeah, kind of looking over. So which one is your which is your favorite and then the least favorite episode?
Um. Probably probably my most favorite one. Just nostalgia and all that. Probably I'd say probably Arsenal Freedom. For some reason, I just love that episode.
Which one is that? The
The Arsenal Freedom, like the dumb one with the machine that goes haywire. That
oh, okay.
starts. it starts upping the ante, and they got to battle it out with the thing, and they're trapped on the planet like they are every other week. I don't know why, I just love that one, and I've always loved that one.
Yep.
And then probably the least favorite, honestly, there was a couple on here that I forgot about that I like. Geez, this is really bad. Like not that bad, but probably you know, I don't know that I can pinpoint one, but probably the ones with the Ferengis. With the Ferengi, I probably just don't really care for those in general. And then that's probably one of those Ferengi ones. Without thinking about it too hard here, but I mean, maybe that one, or the one where they're it's all paradise and they're all scantily clad, and then Wesley does a
Yeah.
no. He did a no, and then they were gonna kill him. That was
Yeah.
all right, but I just kind of yawn when that one comes on, and I'm like, okay, I've seen this one before. But
Yeah.
how about you? What was your favorite? What was your least favorite?
I'd probably say just because it's more to my sensibilities, is I guess my favorite would be conspiracy, with the invasion, the body snatcher type story. With but yeah, it's a little bit more gory and a little bit more darker. So that's sort of my palette of things. And then I guess the worst episode, I forget the name of it, but the one where the women are in control. Angel, looks like Angel One.
Oh, Angel One. Yep.
Yeah.
I just passed it too. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can see that. That's fair. Yep.
Yeah, that one probably had the something going for it.
Oh, man, I forgot about that
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
looks like the fans are kind of in agreement. That one got a 5.7.
Yeah.
So
I'd say you're right. Yeah. That was pretty cringe filled a little bit. Yeah,
yeah.
there were some stinkers on this season, but there were some good ones. I think there were more hits than misses. But there are some like where you don't quite know like what to do with the Ferengi. Like they put them in the caricature of like, are these going to be our enemy, or are they going to be something else? And I think they waffled around trying to figure out how they wanted to really portray them.
Yeah.
Aside from just an overly sexist, because you never see any female Ferengis
Yeah.
for a long time because of the
They're always
whatever.
saying, they're always saying, why are you in clothes?
Right. Females in clothes. Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and then as a tribute to Tasha Yar, she went away from us too soon. Our thumbnail for this episode, I picked out a picture that kind of spotlighted her along with the couple of the ladies of Star Trek.
R.I.P. Natasha Yar,
Yeah.
gone and forgotten. My apologies.
Yeah.
Nobody. I mean, she's all right, like as a character, but it just didn't quite hit. It might not be fair for that role because they were also kind of figuring out what's what. So who's to say if they didn't kill her off in season 2, maybe she would. Who knows? But
Yeah.
unanswerable for sure. But yeah, this was a fun walkthrough. I'm glad. And you thought of this one too. And with that, we'll be transitioning over next week to our new, the newest Star Trek in season 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, covered
Yeah.
and we're gonna we'll do the same thing, but for Strange New Worlds.
Mhm.
And at the time, it's a pretty good, solid show. So we'll, at least for what he's seen so far. So I've
Yeah.
also heard the grapevine and other nerds and other
Oh,
opinion.
your audio sort of sounds like you're talking through a tunnel there.
I don't know. Well, we probably wrap it up here pretty soon. But yeah,
Yeah.
next week we're gonna start on the Strange New Worlds. Is what I was saying.
Yeah, Star Trek. Yep. And then yeah, looking forward to it. I don't know if this series, our actual series that we're doing here, is gonna turn into where we watch the first season of various things. But
Why not? I'm okay with
Yes.
it. It is, you know, with some caveats, like you know, like maybe if we do maybe if we find some really bad stinkers, we can MST 3000 it a little bit or something. Probably not quite, but we'll probably crack jokes like left and right. I know I will.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And as far as the next generation, as far as my continual watch of it, I was kind of wondering. I'll probably take a break for a while. I don't know if we'll come back for the second season or not.
yeah.
Maybe we can. Maybe I could watch it on my own, and then if we if I hit a episode or where I think we could talk about, maybe we could do like a special
Sure,
episode
sure.
here and there where we hit the high points of it, because it seems like our viewership, which with most things, that are various parts on the internet, kind of the viewership kind of drops down. Always episode or part one of any internet thing that has the most views, and then it just kind of steadily declines. So we'll kind of maybe play around with the format and whatnot. See.
Yeah, we did just shove 25 episodes through 8 weeks, so I
Yeah.
don't blame you. But and with that, we'll be back next week.
Yep.
And any other observations or things that we might have missed you can think of?
No, I think we covered it. We could put a close the book on season one.
We can, yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting to maybe come back and look at something else, but this is a great. I was happy to go walk through this and see some of these again. Others not so much, but most of them were like
Mhm.
a welcome home, coming home kind of thing. Was nice
Yeah.
for sure. Cool, cool. With that, this has been the first last of Nerdom, and this is Tom. The conclusion, the final,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
final episode for Thomas's trek through first trek through the TNG or through TNG.
Mhm. Yep.
Uh, we'll see you next week.
See you in space. Engage.